Good afternoon, MTSU friends. Welcome back. We're going to get right into agenda and topic number 4 for today, which is Canvas assignments. Please go ahead and be sure to be in Canvas so that you can work alongside me. This afternoon, we'll understand how to set up your assignments index page. This is the area where assignments are kept because you will want to keep that space organized. Then we will get into the creation and duplication of assignments, set up directions and appropriate settings, place them in modules, share assignments with other instructors, and do send to and copy to. All those little functions that help make your life in Canvas easier. Now we're going to implement a little bit of a change here this afternoon. And don't worry, it's not a big change. We will have some dedicated times for folks to practice the motions and the functions you have just learned. You can also take those times as opportunities to unmute and speak those questions. Also, don't forget that later on this afternoon, we are going to have a dedicated Q&A time, so you could choose to hold questions until then. I guarantee 10 other people have the same questions that you do. All right, until then, feel free to type those questions there in the chat so that someone there can answer as they come up. So let's go ahead and begin. We dive into the pool to start swimming, so let's do it. Inside of one of your courses, I'd like for you to go to the assignments index page. That is located in the assignments link right here, which is hidden from students because frankly, this is not a place for students. This is a place for the teacher. This is where you organize your assignments however you wish. You have groups, folders that open and close that categorize your assignments. Mine on my screen says assignments, discussions, and quizzes, but you may choose to have different categories. Now, if you would like to create your own categories, you have right here a plus group function, and this is where you can create that new category. So go ahead and create a new category with me. Name this whatever you like. I'll call mine projects, but you call yours whatever you want. Your new groups appear at the bottom, which allows for you to place that new group in a location of your choosing. To speak from my own experience, I prefer to have my assignment groups in the exact same order as in my syllabus. So you might want to do that too. I'll create a second group just to show you that motion again. So let's say I have a category in my course for labs, and then I'll place that new group in the area where I think it should go. Now, when items are placed inside of a group, they will appear there to let you know that these are counted as assignments and these are counted as discussions. If you are finding that some items are not in the correct place, this is supposed to go here, for instance, or this is supposed to go here, you can take that item once you have it and you can drag it to be in the correct category like that. I'll show you that one more time for labs. You can also remove groups you don't want. So I'll go ahead and remove this assignment from here because I want to remove this individual assignments category. I don't like it. So once I have it empty, I can select on the dots here and just remove it. So feel free to create new groups, new holding areas for your assignments as needed here. And no worries if you don't have anything in each category yet. When you start to create new assessments, they will appear here automatically as you create them. Now, the setup for the gradebook actually starts here in the assignments area. So let me show you, for example, when we go to set up a new assignment, which we will do today, no fear, you'll be able to weight your assignments by points value. So you can make this assignment, for example, could be worth 10 points. This other assignment could be worth 20 points. So that is possible within the settings of the assignment itself, which we will cover a little bit later. If, on the other hand, you have a system where certain categories have a weight, for example, for you, projects are worth 30% of the grade and discussions are worth 10% of the grade. If you want to do that, you need to set that up right here. So in the three dots in the top corner, closest to the top, select the three dots here and choose this option for assignment groups weight. And if you do want to have weighted groups, you have to check off the box here, then type in those percentages here, whatever they happen to be. And Canvas will add them up here accordingly. You just want to make sure, of course, that they add up to 100%. Then click on Save. And those percentages are marked here. Now, that is only an option. If you don't want to have this weighted option, remember you can always choose not to have this be a feature of your course, in which case I've just removed them so that you can see what that's like to not have to weight in that way. Now, if I want to do additional options, for example, we'll have to pretend I want to drop one of these, the lowest grade, or I want to drop the highest grade. For the category where you want that to be, open up that group. And in the options for the group, which is here, select on Edit. And right here is where you can institute rules. So here's how you would drop the two highest scores, or you can drop the two lowest scores. You can also choose to never drop a certain assignment, whatever that is. So even though it's low, we're still keeping that particular grade. And those rules, as they're called, are listed here. They will also be used by Canvas in the gradebook to help to calculate the student's overall grade for you. So, excuse me. One other option that lives here in the three dots for the entire assignment group is an option called Edit Assignment Date. This allows for you to create a lot of due dates all at once. So let's say, maybe this is how I roll. All of these assignments are going to be due on the same day. You could make that happen. So I can choose that specific date, like so, instead of having to enter each item individually, which would be the other option. So this is a great place for you to manage a lot of due dates all at once. And then you just have to save your work. And yes, if you set up those due dates, they will appear in the calendar automatically. You need not do anything extra. All right, friends, so this represents a good opportunity to have our first piece of work time. Please take a little time to practice what we've just been learning about, or you can use this time to ask your questions. Are there any questions I've missed here, Lauren? Okay. Are there any questions from our in-person friends?
One question concerning assignments, and comparing it to D2L where we had the Dropbox, and you could have them just drop those assignments in the Dropbox. When they do an assignment here in Canvas, does it just get emailed to us, or how does that get captured?
How do you see the assignment?
How do you see the assignment?
We won't be able to cover this in this session, but we
Yeah,
will cover the speed grader area, which is where you can see each student's individual assignment.
awesome.
Well, and also, John, when she shows you, she'll go through how to create an assignment, an actual assignment, and you do have the opportunity to set it up where someone can upload a file and that kind. So it works the same as D2L in that sense that you're going to choose how they upload it, whether it's no submission with an online submission, that kind of thing.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm. I thought that was John. I was wrong. That was right. John Lennon.
Yeah, thank you.
And Helen, um,
Mm.
and it may not do this because D2L didn't do this and I had to manually average, but I do a cumulative test. So if their fourth test is their actually highest grade, average grade of the semester, that becomes their test average. Um, Provided they've set and taken all four tests. And then I also give them just a few bonus points on that last test if they have pre-registered for their appointments at the testing center to take all four tests and their exam before the first test. That's not going to be able to be dealt with in any way in here, is it? Because it's really kind of out of the box.
I think in short, you could do all of that manually. Uh, it's going to require a workaround, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Perhaps like Lauren or admins, maybe we can talk about that particular situation in another separate meeting.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
It's
like
kind of
that. I feel
strange.
like it's
Missed
yeah,
the
I feel like
question
it's
because
possible though.
I missed the question because I was answering a couple in the chat. What was that?
It's okay. I can explain it later. It's
Okay.
something that's kind of weird for me that I do.
And
So yeah.
just as a note, because someone just asked this in the chat, no, the assignments tool is just like Dropbox. Dropbox technically is actually called assignments in D2L, just MTSU called it Dropbox. So it really is actually, they're the same tool in the sense of how you set it up. But remember, even in Dropbox, the grading was in like the D2L grading area. So it all functions the same. So when she shows you here in a moment how to actually go through creating assignment, it'll start making a little bit, you'll start seeing that parallel.
All right,
So
friends.
then do we have to let them view these in assignments if they're already viewed in quizzes?
No, we're going to make sure to set up our assignments in
Okay.
modules.
Yeah.
I'm just about to head here, promise. All right, friends. So we've learned how to organize your assignments, but everybody's right. It's closed. We want students to access those assignments in modules instead. Remember my module 2 from this morning. So let's say I have a separate assignment and it's already been made. Remember, I had a bunch of assignments there before. I'll select in that plus button for the module one of the assignments I've just set up. So maybe it's this one. I'll go ahead and add it here to show you that it is indeed here. And then I'll move it to where I think should be the correct location inside my module. And then I'll just format it just to make sure that it fits in by increasing the indent. As another option, you could take a pre-existing assignment, maybe this one, and you could duplicate it. So that's a second option to generate a new assignment. The benefit of duplicating is that it copies over all of the great formatting that was part of the original assignment if you had that already set up. So what I did to get here was once I got to modules and set up the copy, right? I clicked on the copy and that brought me to the inside of the assignment. And now it's in the correct place because I intend for this assignment to be in this module. So now I just have to fix it up. I just unpublished it because I'm still making this ready for students. And now I will click on the edit pencil. I want you to go ahead and do the same if you are creating an assignment here with me. And for now, go ahead and give this a name of your choosing. And then move on down here in the rich content editor box. And if you have extra information like this, feel free to delete it all. And this is where you would type in your additional information. And I have some, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste all of my directions here from my document. I had it pre-populated already. And then here are my instructions. This is my expectations for conduct. Things like I want to see your bibliography in APA format, or you only have 500 words, or you should have a certain tone and a certain usage of expected vocabulary. Whatever your expectations of those students should be here. And if you are using one of those pre-formatted assignment copies, you can also leave this last section alone. This is a great place for students to learn how to help themselves by accessing our help pages on our website instead of emailing you at 3 o'clock in the morning about how do I do assignments. Now, while you're here, you can feel free to add additional links, images, documents. Here in the plug, you can make use of YouTube, or once you're comfortable, using Studio, adding lists, tables, however you need to format your instructions. And then you'll want to make sure to check for accessibility through the accessibility checker right here. All right. So let me pause right here because you may need a little time to create a kind of a new assignment for students. Make this as elaborate as you need.
I'm sorry, can you go back to like going from the module to the assignment? I looked over to my other screen and then I lost what you did from there.
Let me go ahead and save this and then I can take care of that, yeah. But this is our next work time, folks. Feel free to practice or listen to the response to this question here. So you're looking to add an assignment to a module, right? So go back to your module space here, and you're going to open up a module where you want the assignment to be. Let's say it's this one. And then you'll click on the plus button. There was a little plus in the corner. Select on the drop-down, choose assignment, and here's where you find the assignment to add. And then you click add item.
Got you. So I only have the plus button on my first module. That means that for some reason, when that got migrated over from D2L, that's just the way it came. So I'll have to reset up each of my modules to be individual, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Although you may want to maybe refresh your screen. There should be a plus button on every module. Like, so you see on my
There's not. There's
screen.
not.
Okay.
It looks like it just brought all the content area over into one dump and just put it
Oh,
there.
got it. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in that case, you may have to remake your modules if that happened. All right. While you're practicing and making assignment directions beautiful, any questions still out there?
Yes, I have a question. In some of my courses, I had deep integration with the publisher of the textbook to where it was like, their assignments off their platform, which was, from my case, was the Achieve platform that was, deep integration through D2L. And so I would, each semester I could roll over the shell and then just kind of like re-upload the assignments in, which I'm assuming is how I'll do this with modules here. But is it basically the same Does that make sense what I'm asking? Like how it was set up before?
That you'll have to reconnect your integration each semester?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you'll
But
copy the whole course, but you'll have to reconnect it to the new course.
but is it so like I knew how to do it with D2L. Is it very similar with Achieve?
I haven't worked with Achieve, but if we have it integrated, they probably have some documentation. I'd have to look. Who does Achieve? I can never remember.
That is McMillan.
We have them integrated. So yeah, that would be
Okay.
it may be a little bit different process, but yes, it's going to be similar.
Okay.
I have a
And
quick,
so as
oh, I'm
oh, go
sorry,
ahead. No, go ahead.
going off into a different question.
And let's take one more question and then we'll need to move on. Sure.
Um, I noticed in the import of my content on one of my sets of assignments, there's 6 of them, and every one of them has imported instructions, and it's a link that takes you to D2L, but not to anything related to the assignment in D2L, do I just delete that and
Yeah.
start over? Okay.
All right. Thanks all. Let's head on back into our assignment here. So far, we've created a simple assignment with a title and a couple of instructions. Let's take a look
Hmm.
at the settings. So starting off right here with points, I think we know what this does. Type in the total number of points this is worth. And then here, if you have not already chosen a group for this, you can place it in a specific group here. So it's counted as part of that group. And then next, you'll want to decide how you want the grade to be displayed. Points are what you think it is. Helen, your student sees 90 out of 100. If you prefer, you can have a display instead as a percentage to students or through a check mark or an X, complete and incomplete. Please be wary of your points if you're choosing complete, incomplete, because complete means 100 and X means 0. And it will mathematically calculate that as part of the grade. Students don't always understand that. If you want to keep it simple for today, let's go ahead and leave that as points. If this is a practice opportunity only, you can choose to not count this towards the final grade. But be aware students will be told that it doesn't count. So it's not a secret. The next option we can keep simple for today and have this be the online submission type. And this means students are clicking a button in Canvas and typing in a box. That's text entry. Or they are uploading a file from their computer, like a PDF document. Now, we got a great question earlier about file types. There are so many weird file types in the world, and I cannot open 90% of them. So I went to this system. I decided to restrict upload file types, and I told Canvas, this is all I'm accepting. So the student that tries to submit an HEIC file will not be able to upload it successfully. These are the only choices they have for me. And this was amazing, by the way. Since I have 2 checkboxes checked, it means I'm allowing both options. So if you really prefer just one option, just uncheck the unwanted option, and you could choose to only have a file upload be the choice. Here are some other options. You can allow for students to enter a website URL or to create a video. There are other options for video that we'll discuss later on today, however. And for courses where this is appropriate, you can even upload a file to have students annotate the file. I'll show you this briefly just so that you can get a sense as to what that looks like. I'll upload something random so that you can see this from the student side a bit later. So with all of these checked off means you are accepting all of these options from students. Just be aware. In the drop down too, and this is for different types of assignments, not necessarily this one. For our performance-based classes where students have to do something physically in front of you, like I have to give my speech, or I have to sing, or I have to dance, or I have to give that presentation, choose no submission, which makes the column in the gradebook, and you can grade in the gradebook, but the student is not submitting in Canvas. That is a great option. For now, though, let's keep it simple and go to choosing the online submission type. And students will be told what file types are accepted, yes. Next, decide how many submission types you want to, or submission attempts you want to allow. I always allowed 3 because I have found students will often submit the wrong thing, like their English homework instead of chemistry. So that gives them an additional opportunity to turn in the right thing. Turn it in is turned on inside of the plagiarism review. So here's where you select turn it in. And then you would go through all of the options to enable turn it in. I assume you know how to do that because you're used to using it. Now, by default, your assignments in Canvas are individual, so each student has to submit something. When you are more comfortable with such things, you can create a group assignment where one student submits for all the members of their group, or to have students look at each other's work for giving feedback. That's peer reviews. You can also choose to turn on additional options for TAs. For example, anonymous grading, so your TAs cannot see student names, and to allow for students not to see which TA gave them that feedback on their annotations. And finally, here you have an assign access button. Friends, this is the thing that puts this assignment on the calendar right here. This is setting the due date. So just so that we can see this, I'm going to set this due date for the 22nd. You can set a time, whatever time you want here. And you can walk away from this so that the soft, I said soft, the soft due date is May 22nd. Now, if you need to be more structured, I can set it up to where the due date is the 22nd, but it is only accepted after the 18th. So from the 18th to the 22nd, students can submit. If the due date passes for them, it will be marked late, I promise. But I can also set it up on the other side of the 22nd, so I am accepting submissions until the 27th, and on the 28th, they can no longer submit. So this is that setup for that kind of situation. And in the assign to box that I just hit right here is a place for me to set those accommodations for specific students. You can type in their names here and give them their own due date here. And I promise their names will pop up here and you will be able to give specific students their own due dates. And then you want to make sure to hit save and publish. Let me fix this first. There we go. Oh. All right. So that is the end of the assignment settings there. This is another opportunity for us to have a little bit of work time. So Feel free to practice what you've just learned there. Otherwise, let's go ahead and address some questions. Dr. Cheney?
Yes. So when you were saying when you were doing the assignments of when they're due, there's the soft due date as you put it. So if I put it there, they can obviously just turn things in even afterwards. It'll just mark it as late. If I put the until can and at the same date and time, then that means that is the hard due date. Correct? Okay. So you just copy it exactly as is. Okay.
Yeah, make them match if that's the hard date. Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Mhm. Dr. Knock?
Yeah, quick question. Let's say the assignment is they have to turn something in.
Yes, sir.
Could be a Word document, PowerPoint, whatever. Where is it that you can give them the ability to be able to attach and submit something?
I will show you the student side of things. When the student accesses the assignment, that's where they upload their file for you to look at. And then you would look at the student's work in a different area of the course called SpeedGrader. Does it answer your question?
It does.
In the assignment questions, I see that you can embed or upload audio into different questions. Is there a way to add audio to a question group? So if I want to ask them 5 questions about a recording, I'm just trying to think of the best way to organize it.
I think, Kyla, you may be in quizzes, not in assignments.
Oops. Yeah, I think I'm working ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. You're just thinking long term. In short, there is a way to do that, but let's hold that until we get to new.
For sure. Yeah, cool.
We'll take a look at that. In short, yes, but not here. And assign to is right here. This is where you place the due date, the soft due date to be sure. If you need to add those extra accommodations, you would place them here for specific students. All right, any questions from maybe from our in-person friends? I don't want to leave you out.
We're good here. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I have gone ahead and hit save and publish, and it's already in the module, so students could access it if the date allows it. Remember, I put available from May 18th. Huh. If you want to test that, remember you have view as student. So this is what students would see if they were to try to click on that link today. So they are warned it's not available until then. And down here as well, past the instructions, they will be warned as to the file types. You can see them here. You could also tell them. But also, you see here a place for you to get a rubric going. You can either create one directly from the assignment or find one you might already have in your course. I'm going to assume you don't have one, so let's go through the steps to make a super simple rubric. Now, I know we're all kind of staring at this area here. We have a place called the rubric generator, which for now is a way for you to get a quick rubric up and going. If you want to make use of this tool here, make sure to choose higher education. I'm just going to choose 2 criteria, and for ratings levels, those are levels like satisfactory, not satisfactory, and the total number of points on the rubric. Type in the information. Um, And you can have it go ahead and try to generate that rubric for you. Now, don't worry, you can tell Canvas, I don't want this, and you can have it start over. So you can choose to keep what you have here. So you see it just even made the points values for me. Or I can go ahead and make my criteria from scratch right here. So I click on draft new criterion where I can make that new criterion from scratch. So I'm just going to type in communication. Students chose appropriate communication standards. And then here's where I can type in the descriptions. Whatever exceeds mastery, near, below, and no evidence may mean. And no worries, you can edit the language. So if you don't like the language of exceeds, you don't have to live that way. You can just type in your own. And then I can click on Save Criterion. So you can do a mix or you can create new criteria from scratch using Draft New Criterion, or you can use our rubric generator, at least for now. So I'll go ahead and create this rubric here. So I just clicked on that Create Rubric button, and you have to let Canvas think about it. Oh, I need to put a name. And I would also check off this box because you want Canvas to do all the math for you. This allows for Canvas to add up the points earned through each criterion so that you don't have to type in the student's overall grade. And then I'll choose Create Rubric. And there it is right there. You can even choose to turn on self-assessment by the student. So I'll turn this on just so you can see how that is in a little bit. And that's how to get a rubric going. Before I give you just a little more work time here, I do want to show you what it's like on the student side of things. Remember, this is published, right? So I'm going to go ahead first and fix that date. Remember, I had set this to be viewable only after the 18th. So I'm going to have to clear that out first. So if you're doing the same here, scroll on up to View as Student and click the View as Student button. Oop. And I need to go ahead and fix the requirements there too. I'm going to go ahead and release all the requirements before I move on. And then I should be able to test that better. There it is there. So I click on View as Student, and this is what students see. So I'm going to go ahead and have my fake student look at the instructions, view the rubric. Here are all the choices they have to submit. And in the More button are other ways that they can submit work. For example, they can pull from their Office drive here. Just to show you what all the options look like, this is the text box. This is the website URL box. They can even create a video here or here. And here's how they upload that file. This is what I'm going to do here for today. I click on the spaceship and I pretend to submit something. Why don't you go ahead and submit something? Because this is a fake person, a fake student, so it does no harm. So here is my student's work. And then I will hit Submit Assignment as this fake student. Confetti is delivered when it is on time. And here's how the student sees the work they have just submitted. And if you do choose the self-assess button as an instructor, this is where the student can view the rubric and give themselves I promise, a hypothetical grade. This can serve as a great way for you to teach students how to use the rubric because they get practice in understanding what it's like to assess. Believe me, they're not delivering any points to the gradebook. This is hypothetical. And you'll be able to see that self-assessment when you go to grade it in SpeedGrader. So I encourage you to go inside of your assignment here, click on View as Student, and upload something, anything, so you understand that student experience of how to grade, how to submit, rather. And this is where we're going to break for our next work time piece. So take this as a chance to upload something as a file. And let's see if we have any questions to address. Oh, this is a great question. But no, it is one rubric at the moment, one rubric at a time. The question was for our in-person friends, can you attach multiple rubrics to one assignment? No, it's one assignment, one rubric. Any other questions hanging out there in people's minds? Oh, no worries. You're working hard. Oh, Dr. Marcus, you've had great questions this morning and afternoon. Quick answer to your rubric question is yes. You can't do it here though, is the thing. You can do it from your rubrics index. More on deeper dive in rubrics tomorrow, just so that you know. But in short, if I wanted to take this discussion rubric and move it over to a different course, or copy it rather, there is a three dots here for the rubric in the rubrics area where you can do copy to, and here's where you pick that other class.
Can you state what the question was? We didn't see it. I think it went straight to you.
Can you copy the same rubric and attach it to several assignments or copy it to a different class? So this addresses the copy the rubric to a different class question. So you can do that here. You can attach the same rubric to 50 assignments if you want. It's just that you can't do it in bulk. So if I choose a different assignment, I'll just choose this one. Oh, that's a page. Never mind. Let me pick an actual assignment, like this one. This is new, right? I can click on Find Rubric here, because I already have it made and I can choose that same rubric here and click add. So yes and yes. All right. Some last tips and tricks from someone who's been there. I'm going to head on back into the assignments index to drive home certain set of points here. Inside of your assignments group where you locate these assignments, you have a menu for each assignment. So when you select it, you can make a duplicate. You can also modify the due date from here. So let's say, like I see, oh, the due date was May 22nd, but I don't want to open this assignment. Too much work. I can click on the assign to option for the assignment and change the due date from here, which saves me from having to open the assignment again and scrolling to the bottom. So again, that option is right here. You can also send this to another instructor. Sorry, Lauren. You're going to get a lot of work from me. This is a great way for you to share the load between several different instructors instructing the same course. So if Lauren and I are both teaching exponential functions, I can send this to her and she picks it up like it's the UPS right here from the account inside of shared content. She'll see it here and then she can import it into her own course. And then one other option is to copy this to a different class you teach, which by the way is going to also send the rubric if you attach the rubric. Go to copy to, and then you pick that other course where you want it to go. And a copy of that assignment with the rubric will travel, like the UPS, over to that other course when you click on copy. And that, friends, is assignments. We made it. Dr. Mark, oh man, you have a talent of coming in with amazing questions right at the end. Is shared content only for instructors? Yes, students cannot share content. They don't have that permission inside of their role. Any last questions before I let you go for a break?